While you're watching this video, it's probably safe to assume that you're within arm's reach of your smartphone device. In fact, there are over 5 billion people around the world that own a smartphone. That's greater than the number of people who actually own a toothbrush. The overall economy around the smartphone industry is roughly $3 trillion. An average person spends over 5 hours a day on their smartphone device and checks their phone roughly 80 times a day. In my case, of course, it's over 100 times a day. So let's think about what does it really take to get this game-changing consumer electronic product into your hands. So there are over 600 component parts that make up a typical smartphone device. And these component parts are made up of roughly 70 raw materials. Many of these component parts come from highly constrained sources of supply, which makes the supply chain around the smartphones extremely complicated. For example, the OLED component is primarily manufactured by Samsung, who own 95% of the overall global market share. Also, what's interesting is if you add up all the different travel and the sourcing that happens around these component parts, your smartphone device has traveled to the moon and back before you make the purchase as a consumer. Once these component parts are sourced from 43 countries across 6 continents, they're ready to be assembled. Most of this assembly happens in countries like China, India, South Korea, and Japan. There are over 2,800 smartphone devices that get manufactured every minute of the day. This is a really complicated supply chain, particularly when you think about not just the manufacturing, but the distribution of these smartphone devices across all the various demand regions where the consumers exist. And these logistical challenges are getting further exacerbated with the current trade disputes that are ongoing around the world. The overall demand for smartphone devices has ebbed and flowed over the years, but when we've analyzed the data here at LLamasoft, we've found that the key causals or the key attributes that drive demand include the following: price of the smartphone device, the extended battery life, the processing power, and the new features that come with every upgrade cycle. Now, you'd think that someone like me has always got the latest smartphone device. What I'll admit to is I was stuck with a 4-year-old device that I just upgraded a few weeks ago. Now that you've upgraded your device, the question becomes, what do you do with the old one? In fact, just in North America, there are over 150 million units that get thrown away every year. That accounts for roughly $1 billion worth of reusable materials that is going to waste. That's an opportunity, and one that we can try to solve together.